In today's recap, we bring you the erotica thriller movie called Chloe. In this story, a woman suspects her husband of cheating on her, so she hires a call girl to seduce him, but things take a turn when the call girl gets deeply involved in their family affairs. When the movie begins, we are introduced to a beautiful, seductive woman called Chloe. She is a call girl who is well versed in the art of seducing men. Chloe believes that understanding what a man wants and knowing what words to say and when to say them is an important part of her job. The scene cuts to a gynecologist named Catherine, who is looking at a beautiful woman escorting an older man from her window. Catherine's husband David is a college professor. He gets asked out for dinner by one of his students and he politely declines at their house. Catherine is throwing a big party for David's birthday. Their son Michael comes home with the girl and goes upstairs ignoring Catherine. David calls Catherine and informs her that he will get late to come home. Catherine is disappointed but she hides her frustration and says they will wait for him late at night. Catherine sees that Michael's date is still home and when she is asked to leave, Michael slams the door on Catherine's face. Catherine wakes up in the morning to the sound of David shaving in the bathroom. He apologizes for not making it to the party. Catherine then tells David that his presents are in her office but he says he'll be late again for dinner due to schoolwork. Catherine bumps into Michael's girl walking around the house in her panties. She tries to advise her son that what he is doing is wrong but Michael says David knows about this and he is alright with it. Catherine is annoyed that nobody told her about the girl and Michael says her name is Anna. Catherine asks if they are using protection and Anna says yes. Afterwards Catherine hears David's phone chiming and she sees a message from a young girl named Miranda thanking David for the night with a picture attached. David and Catherine go to a restaurant to meet with their friend Frank. While David talks to a waitress in a friendly manner, Catherine gets uncomfortable and excuses herself to go to the restroom. While Catherine is doing her business, she hears a lady crying in the next aisle and asks if everything is okay. The lady says she has no toilet paper and Catherine gives her some. It turns out the lady is Chloe. She takes out a hairpin and says Catherine had dropped it but Catherine says it's not hers. Then Chloe offers her the pin as a thanks but Catherine politely refuses and leaves. After a while observing Chloe with her date at the table, Catherine realizes that she is a call girl. On their way back home, Catherine angrily asks David if he thought the waitress was sexy. Then David assures her that he was just being friendly and nothing more. One day from her office window, Catherine notices Chloe entering an upscale bar and surmises that she goes there to meet with clients. Catherine goes to the same bar looking for Chloe. They order drinks and Chloe says she does not normally meet with women. Catherine then says that she wants to hire Chloe to test her husband's loyalty. She admits that she thinks David is cheating on her, and she instructs Chloe to present herself to David and see what he'll do. Catherine tells her that David visits the cafe to have lunch and read the newspaper. She tells Chloe to introduce herself as a student. Chloe then goes to the cafe and approaches David, asking him if she could borrow some sugar. After her encounter with David, Chloe meets Catherine to tell her what happened. Chloe spins the story and says David approached her first to ask if she was a student. Chloe says she was studying Japanese, and David asked if she could say something in Japanese, which made her blush. Chloe assures Catherine that nothing happened, but Catherine is angry that David approached her first. Chloe then admits that David is cute, and Catherine scoffs at this. After that, Catherine takes out an envelope with money inside and gives it to Chloe, telling her she wants her to meet David one more time. Catherine makes it clear that the next time they do it will be the last time she finds David chatting with someone on his computer. Then she goes upstairs and eavesdrops on Michael speaking with Anna, but Michael notices her and slams the door. Catherine then goes to talk to David. She asks who he is chatting with, and he says it's just one of his students. Catherine then tells David that she doesn't know how to be Michael's mother anymore. She then questions David about Anna sleeping over, and David reminds her that there was a time when the two of them used to be like that. David and Catherine share a drink, and David sadly asks his wife why they have grown apart. Catherine says she doesn't know, and she laments about how busy they both got. Catherine tries to kiss David but he avoids it and says he has more work to finish. Catherine pretends to be fine with it and encourages him to finish his work. The next morning Chloe texts Catherine and asks to meet her after warming up to her husband last night. Catherine apologizes to Chloe saying she was just a little insecure and that she should forget about all of this, but Chloe says it's too late since she has already seen David. Catherine and Chloe move their conversation to a coffee shop where Chloe tells her that she saw David at a cafe. She explains that they bought sandwiches and started talking about school and music, and David had been staring at her the whole time. Then David had asked if he could kiss her, and this immediately upsets Catherine, but Chloe is quick to add that David said he couldn't kiss her because he's married. Then he had asked her if she knows someplace private where they could kiss, and Chloe recommended a greenhouse called Allen Gardens. At this point Catherine is in tears, but she wants to hear the rest of the story. Chloe continues and says that after finding the perfect spot inside the greenhouse, they shared a passionate kiss. Catherine interrupts Chloe and reminds her that she was only supposed to meet David and not do anything with him. Then Chloe says she doesn't know what Catherine really wants. Then Catherine admits to making a mistake by getting Chloe involved, and she leaves angrily. Catherine bumps her car accidentally, and she sees Chloe falling from her bicycle on the pavement. She treats her injured self while Chloe returns to her story about David this time around. She describes everything they did in detail. She had moved her hands down his pants, and one thing led to another. Catherine urges her to continue the story, but Chloe says David had to leave because he had work. Catherine is angered but insists that Chloe meet with David again. She asks that Chloe show her the results of her most recent tests for sexually transmitted diseases, and she agrees to it. As Catherine drives home she imagines Chloe being intimate with her husband. The next day Chloe visits Catherine's office to show her the test results. There she meets Catherine's son Michael and flirts with him. Later on during the day Catherine goes out with her friends but she is distracted by thoughts of David. She then receives a text from Chloe telling her to go to a certain hotel room. There Catherine finds Chloe naked in the bathroom. Chloe puts on a robe and gives Catherine the explicit details of how she and David made love on the bed. She suddenly asks Catherine if she is turned on by all this, and Catherine doesn't answer, but her body language makes it obvious that she is aroused. After that Catherine pays Chloe for her services and both of them leave the room together. At the elevator Catherine compliments Chloe's scent and Chloe applies some of the lotion on Catherine's hand. Then Catherine sadly tells Chloe about the good times she had with David years ago. As she cries Chloe suddenly kisses her. Feeling shocked Catherine leaves. After Michael's piano recital David kisses Catherine's hand and compliments her scent. A moment later Catherine feels troubled and abruptly leaves. Chloe and Catherine check into a hotel room together, where Catherine undresses Chloe and asks her to describe how David likes to touch her. Chloe gently kisses her shoulder, and the next thing you know, the two women are making love. Chloe takes the lead and dominates Catherine. Later that night, Catherine forbids Chloe from seeing David again before she leaves. Chloe gives her the hairpin, and Catherine takes it. David is waiting for Catherine at home, and he angrily questions her on why she's late. He wants to know if she is having another affair. Catherine asks if it would make a difference, and David tells her that it does. Catherine starts questioning David about him having another affair, and they get into a huge argument. David retorts, saying he only appreciates the beauty of other women and has never done anything beyond that. Suddenly Michael comes and interrupts their argument. When he is ordered to go back to his room, he says he can't wait to get out of this house. When Catherine goes to work the next day, she gets an email from Chloe and is shocked to see a picture of them sleeping together. When Catherine turns around, Chloe is waiting with some flowers for her. They start talking. Catherine says they need to stop whatever's happening between them. Then she tries to give Chloe some money, but Chloe says this isn't about money and starts crying. Catherine sternly asks her to leave. Later on, Catherine receives a text from Chloe saying that she has left David. After that, Catherine asks Chloe to meet her at the cafe. She also asks David to meet her at the same place at the same time. David arrives and is confused about what's going on. Catherine says she just wants him to be truthful. Catherine brings up the party and why he was late. Then David explains that he missed it on purpose. When Catherine brings up Miranda, David gets angry and accuses her of spying on him. Shortly afterwards, Chloe walks up to their table, but David sees her and he doesn't seem to know her at all. He asks Catherine who the woman is, and this is when Catherine realizes that Chloe was making up all those stories about having sex with David. Catherine says she's nobody and David leaves. She follows him and ends up telling the truth about what happened with Chloe. She tells him that she hired Chloe to tempt him because she suspected David of having extramarital affairs. She also discloses that Chloe lied to her about being with him, and Catherine believed everything. Then she starts telling him about her insecurities before finally admitting that she slept with Chloe. David is shocked to hear all this, but he doesn't get mad at Catherine. Instead, he kisses her and embraces her. Meanwhile, after having flirted with Michael a couple of times before, Chloe goes to Catherine's house and hooks up with Michael on Catherine's and David's bed. Catherine comes home and is shocked to find his son sleeping with Chloe. Catherine kicks Michael out of the room and starts arguing with Chloe, threatening her and demanding her to stay away from her family. Chloe angrily takes the hairpin she gave Catherine and points it at her neck, confessing her love for her. They continued to argue and Chloe says that Catherine wouldn't have got her husband back if not for her. While the two women argue, Michael enters the room discreetly and observes what is happening. Catherine asks Chloe what she wants, and she says she wants Catherine to kiss her, and they end up kissing. Just then, Catherine happens to see Michael watching them and gets startled. She accidentally pushes Chloe against the window, breaking the glass and pushing her outside. Fortunately, Chloe holds on to the wooden frame, but she willingly and gracefully lets go of her grip, falling to her death. Later, David embraces Catherine as the police arrive at the scene. In the final scene, Catherine is seen at a party, and she is wearing Chloe's hairpin. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and comment on which movie you would like us to recap next.